Welcome to Project 308. My name is Trottier, and that right there is my 1978 Ferrari 308 GTS, where I am restoring it for you live and in Technicolor. If you want to know what it takes to restore a vintage car of this caliber, well, you can check out my videos, because there's lots of them. As you can see, the bottom right there is missing. Now, in my collections of parts that I got with the car, I got this one spare rail. So previous owner obviously had a great idea. I don't know if it's the same idea, where he had sourced one of these rails. I don't know what it's off of, but it appears to be underneath these extra little pieces. It appears to be the same rail. So my theory is that I'm going to cut these pieces off this rail. Cut these pieces up. Son of a bitch. I gotta go turn that buzzer off, that front door. But I'm gonna cut these pieces off this.
Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch, gun. You thought I was gonna say son of a bitch, didn't you?
I'm gonna quickly cut these pieces off this front rail and weld them onto this one, and kind of you transfer all the good parts off this one onto this one. Beep beep. Well, I'm gonna figure out how this comes apart. There's two ball bearings there. Gotta keep those. That's peened over right there. So I think I'm gonna start by undoing that and that, and seeing if I can't slide this rail out. Hello and welcome to another Project 308 episode. Today we're gonna do what I always do, which is to underestimate the amount of work required to complete a project. But it's no big deal, it's just part of the process, because I have an image in my head of how I want the car to turn out. And there's no sense fretting about the time it takes to get there. So right now let's get some ball bearings out. Not sure if you can see it, but right there, I'll take a little picture of it. Sometimes I know if I take pictures of it for you, I can get a better shot. Let's just see if I can get it. There's one. One ball bearing. Okay, there's the other. Two ball bearings.
I am the Count. They call me the Count because I love to things.
Oh, where did that go? That probably. Alright, so I can see from looking down this one that this little ball runs here. Interesting enough. Side became a lot easier. Okay, now you can clearly see what I got. The problem is going to be this side. See how 29 looks, and 29 millimeters. It needs to go there, 29 millimeters south of that point there. 526. Now obviously using a handheld grinder is not the most accurate tool in the world, so I tend to head over to my mini vertical mill to square up pieces before I start working on them and re-welding them back in, because I don't want to re-weld something in crooked. There's an old saying that says, measure twice, cut once. Well, I'm the type of guy who measures like 15 times before I'm ready to go with something. Oops, turn gas on. Alright, I screwed up and forgot to cut the tab off the other one. I don't know if you can see it or not, but this one definitely has a wow in it. Right there at the middle. But I imagine getting this apart is going to be a bit of a challenge. Alright, so this one is a bit worse than I originally thought it was. Some sort of hacksaw was used to get through this, cut-off wheel, something like that. I'm assuming the bolt was spinning in the car. They couldn't get the end of it they needed to get to. Probably a lot of yanking going on, lots of prying. That's why these two are bent. So I've got to repair all this here. Repair that, which shouldn't be that a big deal. I'm going to kind of heat this up and this one and kind of hopefully bend them back into quasi-straightness. Never going to be perfect, but should get it back to the point where it is usable. You know, nothing makes a YouTuber or content creator feel more special than when you subscribe. So you know you want to. I know you want to. Just kind of reach down there with your mouse and go click. See, was that so hard? Thanks. Ooh, that's hot, Lou. Mother effer. Alright, so here's my first pass at it. I welded it and then I kind of took it to the vertical mill and skimmed it off. Still got a little bit of filling to do right there, clean up. It's a little bit thin right through here, so I'm going to try and get that fixed up a bit. Guess you can't really see anything there, can you? So what I really find interesting about this clip in particular is that you can really see how much the metal is flexing from the heat. This is not me moving the camera, it's fixed. so there seems to be a front and a back to this one, so I had to go upstairs to look at the footage because I actually didn't notice when I took it apart. Huh. But thankfully I record everything, so easy peasy. So my videos are not meant to be tutorials, but if I can offer you some help, I'm happy to do so. Should you find yourself in the position that you need to rebuild your seat tracks, here's a little lowdown. Taking these apart is simple in theory, a little bit tougher in application. These tabs, simply bend these little tabs up and then try and get the pieces to come apart by moving it back and forth. You will find in each one of these there is 4 ball bearings on the in that little runner right there, and then these little coasters sit in this channel right here and this channel right here, and they are locked together by these little divots that are in there, run back and forth. So the challenge is to get the first ball bearing out. Putting them all together, getting them all back apart is a little tough. Get one ball bearing out, slide it along here, get it out by moving the track back and forth. That will give you a little bit more play. Get the second one out. Once you have these 2 ball bearings out, then you can massage that out, and then you can do the reverse on the other side. Clean the tracks, re-lubricate them as you put them together. I found that these actually require a lot more lubrication than I initially thought, so I ended up jamming a lot more in there. And not technically challenging, just requires a lot of patience. And then we're going to put this last one together. Alright, I've just discovered I have yet another problem. Does it ever end? Well, okay guys, the zoo is in full operation today. The guys are very hyper. These rails that were supplied with the car are not even off a 308, they are off a 328. So it would appear the seats are 308, the rails are 328. I get the impression that everything is basically the same except for this. So I was trying to figure out why this piece here was sort of jutting into the leather, and I'm like, why is that going there? So I started scouring through diagrams, and it appears that with these brackets on right here, these are for a side trim panel that goes along the side on a 328, but that didn't occur on the 308 series. So it would appear that I put that piece, I transferred that piece over from that rail. I didn't need to do that, nor did I need to do that. Sucks to be me, but these definitely need to come off. Alright, so I've now converted 2 of these to 308 GTS as opposed to 328 GTS. Let's see if they fit. So there's one bolt on the floor, and it doesn't look right, and I'm hoping it's not seized in there. But let's take it out. That was kind of anticlimactic. Alright, so I put the seats in the car, I've lined up the bolts, I can see that they all physically line up. I haven't actually bolted them in because I still have the center console to put in and I don't want to bolt it in just to have to take it back out. But a little bit of work, but it turns out that it worked out okay. Finally moving on. Oh, that took forever, and now you understand why the car is taking me so long, because everything requires 1,000 hours. I found some new handles in the collection of parts I bought. The inner handles are on the car look like poop, so let's try changing these inner handles. In the hole. Nothing's going right. There we go. I did go into this with my eyes wide open. I did know that this car was missing lots of parts when I bought it. What I didn't realize was exactly how many parts are missing and how many little pieces are missing on the interior of the car, especially in these doors. I'm spending more time looking at pictures on the internet of doors and stuff than actually fixing crap. These guys right here have been a particular challenge because all the clips and the little bolts and the little cables and even the rods are missing. So while I have the whole lock assembly, I got no way of kind of making it open and close because I'm missing stuff. And all this stuff is not really available unless you buy the whole part. And for anybody who knows these cars, all these parts are incredibly expensive. So anyways, I was looking at this lock assembly that was missing a clip that holds a rod, and I said, you know what, that looks awfully like a Honda part that I remember from eons ago. So I ordered a couple up. And luckily for me, they worked just fine. So the latch has two spots in it. I'm only catching the one. Good enough for now. I can't finish adjusting it until I have the seals on and everything. So once all the door seals are on and everything, then I can do another adjustment. But for now, it's working. I'm trying to feel like I'm making progress, which I am, but I'm gonna try putting these mirrors on right now. I've been a little bit afraid of putting them on simply because it's anything that's paint work. I'm like, paint work. Let's do it. Now for all you 308 people that are very familiar with the car, I know that these aren't the factory or even reasonably close to the factory mirrors. They just happen to be supplied with the car, and they just happen to line up perfectly. So I'm going to put them on. And then someday when I want to spend $1,000 on a pair of original mirrors, I'll go ahead and replace them. But that ain't going to happen anytime soon. I also regularly get asked, where do I source most of my parts? My regular vendor is AW Italian. That's awitalian.com. Ask for Stacy and tell her Lou, the Canadian guy. Oh, they're fresh.
More parts to put on the car, but we'll save those for the next episode. Except for this one.
As always, thank you for watching and subscribing and all your comments and all your help. I really appreciate all those tips you guys put in the comments and the emails I get. You guys are frickin' awesome. Have a good one.